Number 1. ISO is an independent, non-governmental international organization that focuses on bringing experts together to share knowledge and help to solve issues all over the globe. They make standards that cover almost every industry and impact almost everyone. Number 2. ISO began in 1946 when about 25 delegates from countries all over the world met in London at the Institute of Civil Engineers and created an organization to facilitate the international coordination and unification of industrial standards. On February 23, 1947, ISO officially began its operations. Since then, they have expanded to 163 countries and over 135 full-time workers working at the headquarters in Switzerland.
Hi, my name is Haley, and I'll be talking about the purpose of ISO as well as the difference between 2008 and 2015 ISO. So, overall, the purpose of ISO is that it provides industries guidance for quality standards. That way, it promotes long term growth for them. And really, it prefers quality over quantity. So, it wants to target producing more quality products than having just a lot of worse products that they're going to be putting out to the market. And another thing is that they want to improve efficiency. And so efficiently producing those quality products over slowly producing those worse products for the market. And what ISO also provides is that it gives guidance to solving roots of problems that maybe you aren't producing efficiently or really costly or not as great as products as you wish. And so ISO will help direct that industry to be able to produce a quality product efficiently at a lower cost. So here we talk about the difference between 2008 and 2015 ISO. And so for 2008, it has a heavy emphasis on like benefits of quality as it's related to customers and more related to quality management. And so it doesn't really emphasize the strategies or the tools that allow you to do this and like really to analyze risk. Um, but it does provide like being more geared, having the industry more focused on giving a quality product than it does giving just a lot of products that aren't built that great. Um, However, in 2015, it's more geared to focusing on the key principles related to quality management. So they've already managed to start making products for quality rather than quantity, but it wants to focus on the 7 principles that are highlighted in the 2015, and that is focusing on customers, leadership, engagement, processes, improvement, decision making, and managing relationships. And this really does help with the output and input components that it also talks about is that you are able to input all these principles and get a better output. And having those principles with monitoring production processes also like will help improve that overall quality, that overall efficiency, and ultimately making your production less costly. And also documenting procedures. That way it's actually easily replicated. That way you can continue to have this quality product instead of it changing because some people don't know how to produce it.
ISO 9000 is a setup of collections of guidelines to help a company establish, maintain, and improve the quality management system. Organizations have flexibility in how they implement their quality management system. ISO 9000 gives the freedom to companies, organizations, and businesses, small and large, the ability to have a quality management system. An important aspect of ISO 9000 is its process oriented approach. ISO 9000 requires a company to look at the bigger picture, not just look at the individual departments and specific processes. Once a process oriented approach is implemented, various audits can be done as a way of checking the effectiveness of the quality management system. There are 3 types of audits. There's a first-party audit, second-party audit, and a third-party audit. First-party audit is an internal audit. The second-party audit is allowing for a consumer to evaluate the performance on an organization. Third-party audit is an independent certification body comes in to an organization and evaluates its terms in the ISO 9000 guidelines. If an organization meets the requirements of the standard, it becomes certified in ISO 9000 and carries a seal of the quality recognized throughout the world. The steps in getting ISO 9000 certified are: contact one of the organization's ISO 9000 certified bodies to request a certified audit. These certification organizations are present throughout the United States and in dozens of countries overseas. Next is publish the date of the pending audit to all employees and ensure they are fully familiar with their specific instructions, policies, and quality goals, as well as overall corporate quality mission statement. Next is permit the certifying organization to conduct the ISO 9000 audit of your company's quality management goals and processes. Demonstrate that your documentation is in order and employees know their work elements, processes, and relating to meeting company quality goals, and that you have an effective quality management system in place. Lastly, obtain certification documents from the certifying organization after success.
There are 7 quality management principles. The 7 quality management principles are customer focus, leadership, engagement of people, process approach, improvement, evidence-based decision-making, and relationship management. The primary focus of quality management is to meet customer requirements and to strive to exceed customer expectations. Sustained success is achieved when an organization attracts and retains the confidence of the customers and other interested parties. Every aspect of the customer interaction provides an opportunity to create more value for the customer, understanding current and future needs of customers and their interested parties. Leadership at all levels establishes a unity of purpose and direction, creates conditions in which people are engaged in achieving the organization's quality objectives. Creation of unity in the purpose of direction will enable the organization to align its strategies, policies, processes, and resources to achieve its objectives. Competent, empowered, and engaged people at all levels throughout the organization are essential to enhance its capability to create and deliver value. To maintain an organization effectively and efficiently, it is important to involve all people in all levels to respect them as individuals. Recognition, empowerment, and enhancement of competence facilitate the engagement of people in achieving an organization's quality objectives. Consistent and predictable results are achieved more effectively and efficiently when activities are understood and managed as interrelated processes that function as a coherent system. The quality management system consists of interrelated processes. Understanding how results are produced by the system enables an organization to optimize the system and its performance. Successful organizations have an ongoing focus on improvement. Improvement is essential for an organization to maintain current levels of performance, to react to changes in its internal and external conditions, and to create new opportunities. Decisions based on the analysis and evaluation of data and information are more likely to produce desired results. Decision-making can be a complex process, and it always involves some uncertainty. It often involves multiple types of sources of inputs as well as their interpretation, which can be subjective. It is important to understand that cause and effect relationships and potential unintended consequences. Facts, evidence, and data analysis lead to greater confidence in decision-making. For sustained success, an organization manages its relationships with interested parties, such as suppliers. Interested parties influence the performance of an organization. Sustained success is more likely to be achieved when an organization manages relationships with all of the interested parties to optimize their impact on its performance. Relationship management with its supplier and partner of networks is particularly of importance. A process is a set of interrelated or interacting activities that is used to input, deliver an intended result. The three concepts of an integral part of the ISO 9001 are risk-based thinking, PDCA, and the process approach. Risk-based thinking is used throughout the process approach to decide how risk, positive or negative, is addressed in establishing the processes to improve the process outputs and prevent undesirable results, define the extent of process planning and controls needed, improve the effectiveness of quality management system, maintain and manage a system that inherently addresses risks and meets objectives. PDCA is a tool that can be used to manage processes and systems. PDCA stands for Plan, Do, Check, and Act.
ISO 9000 is far more useful for you than you may have been aware. The fundamental concepts are explained within ISO 9000 without burdening the reader with additional requirements. The better we all understand these fundamental concepts, the easier it is to create and maintain a truly beneficial quality management system. Quality management principles apply to every clause in the quality management standard. These are the guidelines that keep the entire system moving in the right direction. ISO 9000 provides the framework needed to build a quality management system and have it work towards the success of the organization.
Alright, so for my portion of this project, I looked specifically at the criticisms of ISO 9000. Through my research, my primary source being an article written about ISO 9000 from website referencesforbusinesses.com, I found that common business owners did not possess the adequate knowledge of the certification process to become ISO certified. Because of this, the end result was seen often as a waste of time and resources. Essentially, it was not worth the investment. Smaller firms, and according to the source, those were firms with less than $11 million in annual revenue, found that the process to become ISO certified was very costly, with many firms reasoning that there was no return on their investment. According to this website, which this study was conducted in 1996, found that with these small firms, it would cost, on average, over $70,000 to go through the process. Because the ISO certification process, leads so heavily on documentation, many businesses refocused all of their time and energy on documenting their actions, and because of this, it led to a shift in their business practices, subsequently leading to a loss in business because of just refocusing and leading the company in a different direction. And lastly, and this was one of the most common criticisms, is the time requirements to complete the process. It was said that this process would last anywhere from 15 to 20 months, and that was just the average. It was, in some instances, it was even longer than 20 months. It was closer to almost over 24 on a couple of accounts. When we look specifically at the 1994 series version, some of the more outstanding criticisms were that the series looked extensively on quality assurance. That is, making sure that every step of the process is done perfectly, and we want to secure preventative actions during the manufacturing stage. We want to make sure that we can catch any mistakes that will happen beforehand. Instead of just looking at the final products and making sure that they're right for the customer. Now, I don't necessarily agree that this is a bad thing, but in doing a little bit more digging, the process and the means in which this was done were definitely flawed and could have been presented better. Next point being is because of the obsession with quality assurance, companies would document every single step they took in these massive manuals, and it would take away, again, going back to that original criticism, the last slide, it would take away from their ability to do business. It would take away from their focus on the actual process itself, more obsession with documentation, and in the end, products would suffer. The developments and looking up new ideas suffered, and it became more so just getting caught up in the bureaucracy of ISO rather than the development and creation of new products for customers. So improvements that were made after the 94 version came in 2000, when the new system came out that replaced all standards that had been set by the previous ISO versions. In the 2000 version, the only companies that engaged in the creation of new products were required to change their procedures for designing and developing these products. So basically, if you have a firm that is offering offering services, the documentation doesn't need to be as extensive because they're not creating a new product and they're not going through the manufacturing stage. Theirs is going to more so be focusing on customer service and what's the end result for the customer, rather than the needless step-by-step process of going from one stage to the next when you're creating a new product. And a new focus that came from these later on versions was also efficient. They want to be as efficient as possible, so there was a shift in how documentation was done, the requirements needed for that. I did learn that it still takes quite a bit of time to become ISO certified, but in the 2015 version, it sounded like there was starting to take less time, and companies were starting to see more return on the investment in terms of their efficiency and their productivity versus it just being a money pit only to be caught up in the bureaucracy of it all.